This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stockbox interview. Hello and welcome to the Research Talks here on Stockbox with Alan Green. Alan, how are you doing? We're very close to Christmas. Are you all ready and prepared?
Yes, certainly the tree's up. There are lights on the tree. There are presents at the foot of the tree, and at the front of the house we have scaffolding as well. So because we have some partly roofing work underway, so we've had to hang our frontal lights on the scaffolding, which is looks odd, but there we go. But it's the first we've actually got a clear day, bright sunshine, which is lovely over here. First time this week. It's just been grey and horrible. So yeah, a nice end to the week, and possibly feeling slightly more festive than I did a week ago.
Okay. Well, that's good. It seems like you had the nice day that I had yesterday, so that's nice because it was a very nice sunny day yesterday.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad it was for you. It was grey and horrible here, and as it has been all week. So let's just hope we get a weekend of this. That would be good.
Okay. So today we're going to cover MetalNRG, aren't we, and Bidstack.
We are indeed. MetalNRG and Bidstack. Yes, quite an eventful last quarter for both companies. And of course, Bidstack has put a trading statement out today along with another announcement. So I'll come to that shortly. But we'll start with MetalNRG, of course, which describes itself as an investor into precious and strategic metals and into clean energy projects, and of course it's got a raft of projects, and this is where I think a lot of companies are going today. They're looking to gain exposure to clean energy projects, taking them towards a carbon neutral future. MetalNRG has diversified. Firstly, it has a gold project in Arizona. And then it has an agreement with Ectech, the company that builds and manufactures furnaces and systems for producing energy from biomass and pellet fuels. Then the company also has some indirect investments into a uranium project in Kyrgyzstan and Lake Victoria Gold. There is also the BritNRG project, which I'm not going to go into. The company is currently in dispute with a former director, Pier Paolo Rocco, and that dispute is well documented. And because of the nature of the dispute, it appears that the initial investment MetalNRG made is now owed back to the company. But that's as much as I'm going to say on that particular matter. But the Gold Ridge project, Arizona, the company has made a step forward this month. These are three historic gold mines in Arizona, of course, the Gold Ridge mine, the Gold Prince mine, and the Dives mine, and these are located on in the southern area in the Dos Cabezos Mountains. Lots of historical workings there, and early this year, SRK Exploration undertook a data review and said there was potential for discovery of further mineralization, and there should be evidence of a bigger and more widespread system. And indeed, that certainly does seem to be the case. The company announced in October that it was in possession of 35 historic documents at Gold Ridge, and these documents include several previously unrecorded mines, which have given some real definition and structure and a much better understanding of the asset. So on the back of that, MetalNRG has decided to accelerate the work program there. It's initiated soil geochemical sampling. It's collecting 1,000 samples across a 75-meter grid spacing. So that should give the team there some pretty firm guidance once the assay results come back as to next steps, whether they attack the historic mines already in place or or drilling new, that of course remains to be seen. But certainly it's a very encouraging opportunity there, and given where gold is, and obviously the popularity of gold, and its ongoing popularity as a safe haven in times of market uncertainty, this is a great find for MetalNRG. And of course, the company is run by Rolf Gerritsen, Chief Executive. He's got well over 30 years experience operating mining projects in Europe, USA, Africa, Middle East, Australia. Chris Campbell is the chairman. Former chartered accountant in Zimbabwe. And of course, there is Christian Szafliski, who's the non-executive director on the company. Christian is very well known, of course, for his involvement with Eurasia Mining. So he brings an awful lot of energy and perspective to the projects that they currently are engaged in. So a word on the indirect investments before we go to the agreement with ECTEC, which of course made all the headlines recently. So the company has a uranium project in Kyrgyzstan through mining company Invest. It's an indirect ownership where MetalNRG owns 9.9%, and of course the Kyrgyzstan government imposed a countrywide ban. But there are sort of hopes that with the new government now in place, there will be a positive outcome. Possibly damages will be paid to mining company Invest, and of course, if that does occur, then MetalNRG will receive the equivalent of its shareholding at 9.9%. Company also has an investment into Lake Victoria Gold in Tanzania. This was abandoned due to poor due diligence at the time, and the company has converted the money it spent there into just under 4% of equity in the project. So that's very much a dormant project. But as we're seeing with a lot of these dormant projects, their modern mining techniques mean they can be re-examined, looked at again, and often they can throw up new information and a new perspective. So that of course is very much on the back burner, but we may hear more news on that next year. So we then come to the agreement with ECTEC, and of course ECTEC is blazing a trail, literally. It's basically putting in place these waste to energy plants around the globe in various locations, and MetalNRG entered agreement to buy into. It holds 26.6% for an investment of €700,000 in a waste to energy plant in Tuscany in Italy, and this plant will burn straw pellets, wood chips, and biomass. And of course, it's a very green way of producing fuel, as those into the technology will know. Significantly, on December 16th, which of course is yesterday, I'm just trying to get my calendar the right way around. ECTEC announced a share swap with MetalNRG. MetalNRG has subscribed for 23.6 million ECTEC shares, and ECTEC in return has subscribed for 100 million shares in MetalNRG. The transaction is worth 295,000, and that, more than anything else, I think more than anything that MetalNRG have done this year, is that really draws a line in the sand in regard to the strength of the relationship between the two and the potential for joint ventures in the future. And this is a very exciting sector. If you follow ECTEC, you'll see how the share price and the value of the company has exploded over the last couple of years. And MetalNRG is now going to be a key player with joint ventures with the company going forward, which is very exciting indeed. So the company currently, the share price, of course, has drifted backwards through the year, primarily driven lower, of course, towards the latter end of the year through the uncertainty of the Brit NRG debacle. Nonetheless, the company can move on from this and hopefully extract the value and win the case against the company, and then we'll see the future with the Goldfish project and EgTech going forward. But the company currently has a market cap of just 2.9 million, which is derisory given the value of the contracts that has in place, the value of the Goldfish project, and the joint ventures it already has with EgTech. The shares have traded as high as 1.25 on the year, and they're currently just literally off year lows at 0.27p. So given where clean energy is going, given the strength in the gold price, I think this makes it an absolute bargain basement entry opportunity into several sectors at the same time.
Okay, good. It certainly has come off significant highs, hasn't it? It's very cheaply placed now. We'll have to see how things go forward. Hopefully, BritNRG does get sorted fairly soon. But of course, we have got Goldridge and EQTech as well, which looks like it could be a significant part of MetalNRG's business going forward. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do because it's certainly a good entry point. That's for sure.
Well, it is, and I think the share swap agreement. I know the EgTech team and how they've how hard they've worked to get the company to where it is, and they wouldn't enter into a share swap agreement lightly. Clearly, they see good value in MetalNRG projects. Obviously the agreement with EgTech, but also the other projects, and it gives it in a sense it broadens the EgTech portfolio too. It gives them exposure to gold, which is always a good thing to have in your portfolio. So I think this has worked very well for both companies, and I'm looking forward to seeing what 2022 brings.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Well, thank you, Alan. So let's move on to the other company you're going to talk to us about, Bidstack. I know we've spoken about them before. What's the latest at Bidstack?
Well, Bidstack, I find it a very exciting company, and it's a lot of my colleagues out there sort of look at me and have given me strange looks. I think given largely I guess we can say missed targets by the company over the past few years. But I think the technology is compelling. There are other players in the sector, but Bidstack were the first to market. And of course, they're a technology company providing cross-platform, in-game native advertising, across mobile networks and gaming networks across the world. Everyone knows about gaming, the potential of the sector. It's reckoned it's going to be worth some 260 odd billion by 2025. So that's just 3 years away. About 3.5 billion gamers, 3.5-4 billion gamers worldwide. And Bidstack has spent an awful lot of technology. It's bought in the board of the company, and the advisory board reads like a who's who of the gaming industry. They have this resource to draw on, and they're seeing the developments in the mobile gaming, and they've created something that's going to be and is now an integral part of that offering. So if any gaming level you're involved in, you will see advertising being served, and the chances are now it will be via a Bidstack platform. Over the past few years, an awful lot of testing has taken place with the platform. They tested with major advertising agencies, WPP, Dentsu, Publicis, Omnicom, to name but a few. And a lot of the key players from these companies have actually come in onto the advisory board as well. But really, it's the latter part of this year, because the Bidstack's share price performance over the past year, it's just really like a lot of small cap stocks. It's flatlined since May and June. But the shares are well up today, 4.6p. As I'm speaking, and it looks like it's set to go a lot higher, and with good reason too. The company raised just under 11 million at 2p with institutional and other directors back in July, and this has been really why the company has come in for so much stick. The revenues it originally projected didn't come in, and so it's had to raise money. but I think it's actually now it's actually past that point. We're now at a point where the company is generating plenty of cash. And in a trading statement this morning, the company said recently signed agreements. Bidstack has secured revenue stream of guaranteed $30 million advertising spend over 2 years. And most significantly of all, the deal that really triggered everything, which took place a week ago, was a publishing deal with a leading AAA games publisher, which is a multi-year, multi-ad format deal, and it gives Bidstack exclusivity to one of the world's largest sporting franchises, materially expanding Bidstack's addressable audience. And James Draper, the CEO, said, this deal's been years in the making. So they've not named the company, but I would suspect it's probably, EA Games or one of the big players. But that's just my speculation. So I'll leave that there. In addition, today, the company announced a 2-year deal with Azerion, one of the largest programmatic in-game advertising companies. And, that deal also further expands Bidstack's global footprint, given exposure to 40 million users with 60 titles. And significantly, we're talking now about, of course, about the metaverse and how the metaverse is going to be. This is where VR and gaming and virtual land grabs all come together. And Bidstack now sees itself as the deliverer of brand advertising within the metaverse. And this is huge. I mean, it's such a huge marketplace. And for Bidstack, his share price has been in the doldrums, and the last week really has seen it explode into life. In fact, Friday last week, when they announced the deal with the AAA games publisher, the share price literally doubled from 2p to 4p within an hour. It's come back a bit during the week, and then of course it's announced the deal with Azerion today, and also it's a trading statement for the full year, which where it says that EBITDA, gross and net profits, and are expected to be in line with expectations, but delays in completing agreements and deferral of ad campaigns means that revenues will be below current market expectations, but albeit still significantly higher than last year. But I think most people now can read between the lines and look at the deals that the company's announced. The Azerion deal today, and of course the AAA deal last week, and realize that Bidstack is what Bidstack projected several years ago is now starting to happen. So the shares are exploding into life. 4.6p currently, giving you a market cap of 42 million, and this is in a multi-billion dollar industry. And Bidstack, with the deals it's put in place, looks set to be the go-to player for in-game native advertising. So it's a hugely significant step forward. The deal last week, I think, marked the turning point for Bidstack fortunes in this regard, because it now means the company can, with the revenue it's going to be generating, the company can self-fund its own development. So that's hugely significant, very exciting. I'm a shareholder in this company, remain so, and it's a very exciting time for the business, because I do think that we're at 42 million at the moment. We're going to see Bidstack become a multi-billion-dollar company within the next few years.
Okay, well, there you go. Thank you very much, Alan. You heard it here first, but it sounds like they've certainly turned a significant corner, having revenue, and now they're able to self-fund. So that's a milestone achievement there when a company gets to that point.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think it's also important, if you're considering looking at buying shares in Bidstack, look at the track, or look at what the company's achieved, all of the proof of concept, all of the work it's done with partners and key players in the industry over the past few years. It's worked with with all the major brands. The people that have got involved with Bidstack, the people on the board, with an AI specialist joined the company early this year, Glenn Calvert, Lisa Howe, Chief Ops Officer, formerly from WPP, and she's got a background in investor relations too. And they're all talking about the company transitioning rapidly to the next phase of scalable growth. And I think once a technology company like this once it achieves or once it secures those key deals and then is recognized as the key player in the space, and it then becomes more or less self-funding, that's a huge step forward, because I think if the company were listed solely on NASDAQ, then we'd see multiples of many times the current valuation already. But that's just my opinion. That's just looking at what happens with other companies. Nonetheless, it's a great British company, and I think it's a really good time to get behind it, and the company looks set for a very exciting future.
Great. Okay, well, thank you very much, Alan Green. So next week will be Christmas Eve, won't it? So we might do an early research talks next week, and we can assess the year, and we can look at some of the stocks that we talked about last year and see how they've performed. It might be embarrassing for both of us, one of us, I don't know, and we can maybe talk about the ones we're looking for in 2022.
Indeed, and discuss what is in each other's stocking, maybe.
Sure, yeah. But we can do that if you like, Alan. Absolutely, yeah. Share it. Show it. I'll show you my Christmas tree if you show me yours.
Okay. Well, yes, yeah. You'll have to imagine it's a podcast, Mark. But there we go.
But you can describe it to me. Right. Well, thank you very much, Alan, again for your time this week.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Cheers.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like, or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.